Um, so for Scrum, I guess I'll just go first real quickly. I finished a PR to upgrade to Rails 5.1, so that's outstanding there. I've been working on trying to recover our test coverage, which is more complex than it should be. I'm wading into an ill-documented morass of semaphore CI, coveralls, simple cov, and maybe a fourth or fifth item, and how they all interoperate with it, I'm still not sure yet. It's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of moving parts.
There's a lot of moving parts, and I don't find any helpful blog posting or something. Somebody's figured it all out. So anyway, still working on that. Let me see if there's anything else I've been doing. I think that's pretty much it for the last few days. So that's it for me.
And you helped me.
Oh, that's right. I looked at your PR, played with that a little bit. Yep. So I guess that's it for me then. So I'm continuing to work on the recovering test coverage. I may take another story and work on that in parallel, just to keep myself from getting too frustrated. So who'd like to go next?
Yeah, okay. I did review the Rails stuff, and that works great. I did some reviewing for Ashley too. That had me frustrated. The poltergeist not working is really, I don't understand why it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, so I'm trying to find a solution for that. You already have the Selenium, of course, but I think I have to install Firefox for that to get it to work.
I think the default browser for Selenium is Firefox. You could use Chrome, but I would suggest staying with Firefox. From what I read, it's a more mature mechanism to integrate with Firefox.
So yeah, I haven't installed it yet. So I only installed the driver, and that doesn't work at all. So I'm working.
Yeah, it's looking for Firefox, definitely.
Did you spend a lot of time on making it work with Poltergeist? Is it worth for me looking into further, or?
I've had this problem before with, I think in another project I had a problem with modal dialog boxes were not working correctly with Poltergeist, and they work fine with Selenium. So I think when you get into some of these sophisticated JavaScript scenarios, Poltergeist does have some limitations. It's getting better and better, but Selenium seems to be the go-to thing when you cover this. So to your point, did I spend a lot of time? No, I didn't. So maybe restructuring the test, confirming maybe we don't need some of the steps in the test, whatever. Okay. Stuff like that might be, that's definitely worth playing with.
Okay. And then I did some, I did a review for the assumptions that there's only one company per member, and wanted to see where that gives us trouble. And I put that in the pivotal tracker.
Great.
Let's see. Do you see my screen, or?
No.
Are you sharing your screen?
No, probably not.
I don't think you have your camera on, because we're just seeing your
no, I know the camera is not an option today because I'm not in the the right room for that. I'll see if I can. You can see yourself in Pivotal Tracker too.
Yeah.
Which let me see. Was that's a Sprint 17 thing?
Yeah, the Sprint 17.
Can you send a link to it in Google Chat or Slack? I mean, we can find it, but.
It's in Slack.
Oh, that's the review code for artificial hardwired stuff. That's the title, yeah, okay.
And there's not a lot of places where stuff goes wrong, but there is some stuff in the user interface that we have to change if we want to support more companies.
Yep, absolutely. Looks like it. Looks like a complete list there.
But it's not too much. So I think if we start with the changing the navigation, edit my application HTML.
Yeah.
This is the one that just gives the line on top of the screen and says edit my application. If we could change that to show all the applications, that would be a nice first start.
In that story, Robert, you say navigation steps.rb uses when edit my company. Is that edit my application? Is that what that should say? Or is it edit my company?
Sorry, I think they're both there.
Oh, I see. Edit my application is what I'm thinking of. That's what shows up on the main menu, and it has only the one application.
Yeah, both of them go wrong because edit my company uses the membership last company.
Ah,
so they're going wrong too.
Yep. Okay. Good.
And in the user interface, there's two places. There's the one place on top of the which says edit my application, which is just a link. And there's in the menu where we render edit my company and show my company.
I see. Okay. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. And if I don't think there'll be tens of applications and tens of companies for people. So perhaps, because one option is to make it edit my applications and then go to a second page where there's all the applications are listed. But because most of the time there's only one, that's a bit of overkill probably. What do you think?
I agree. I think probably we could just check, in the controller or somewhere, and say if there's just one application, go to the page. If there's more than one, pop up a list or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would say so too. If there's just one, the menu just says edit my application. If there's more than one, it says view my applications. We go to an applications index view. I understand from talking to Susanna, Ashley, maybe you know this, the number of people who actually have two companies they're associated with is really, really small.
Yeah, this is an edge case for sure.
Yeah, definitely a corner case, yeah.
It's a corner case, okay. So should we do anything?
Well, we still need to accommodate it because it doesn't work for somebody who has that situation.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we need to do it, but I think you asked like how much time to spend on this. I think do a simple UI and do what seems to make sense, and we'll go with that. I don't think it's worth spending a huge amount of time belaboring the details of the UI or like that. Just do something simple and sensible, and we'll see how that works for a bit.
Okay.
My thought.
Yeah, and sensible to me and simple would be if you have more than one, the menu says view my applications. You refresh the page, you show a standard index view of membership applications, and then you have the links hanging off of those. That's it. That's really quick to put together.
Yeah.
Not a sophisticated pop-up, a modal dialogue, all that stuff. No.
No, just simple. Okay. And there's a few other small things that the first page when you log in, it shows you a different text when you have an application still pending or when you're accepted. We could leave that the same, but it is a bit confusing if you have two applications.
Right, and I can think of a couple ways to handle that. That would be, I think, straightforward.
The index view can show other fields rather than just a link, including status and all of it. Does that?
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna? Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah,
it's more about what kind of message do you want to send to users. I think it's more of a question for Susanna or
Yeah.
the client. What do you want to tell a client that has an accepted application and starts another one?
Well, that's a whole other story in and of itself, isn't it? Because that may be a mistake. They may have forgotten they already have an application, or they've got one pending review.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave that just as is, and then start with this part.
I would say this story here is just the design story, which looks complete right now, right?
Yep.
Or the evaluation story.
Yeah, the evaluation is complete. Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, story. We need a story for 2 or more applications for a user.
Yeah.
What do we do with that?
Okay.
And I think a good question for the client would be, how soon should we build this story? They may say, well, you know, we haven't seen it so far, but we know it's coming. You can wait or whatever.
Right. What's the priority?
And then there's a whole other. So Ashley, what's your opinion? So we've got this whole thing which Roberts is bringing up, which somebody goes in there, they forgot they had a pending application, or they forgot they had a completed application, or they literally want to create a second application. We may want to detect you've already got an application and just pop up some.
Exactly.
Are you sure you? Yeah. Yeah. So that's another story too.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's going to record? Who's going to record these little stories? Should we make folders in the Pivotal Tracker? Should we write notes here in our?
Well, I'm suggesting maybe Robert, you write the 2 stories we just talked about, because you're the one who did all the work and brought it to our attention. Therefore, you're to be punished by having additional work thrust upon you. That's what happens.
That'll teach me. Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. You haven't got the message yet?
Well, look, we all just got the weather thing, so let's one bite at a time.
That's right. We're of limited capacity.
Okay.
Are you okay with that, Robert? Just writing 2 quick stories for that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the one about the 2 companies and the warning about an existing one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got it. And I'm sure that there might be another 1 or 2 in there that.
Yeah.
Gone through that stuff. Yeah, just pop it in the Pivotal Tracker so that we
don't forget them. Yeah.
Prioritizing, that's important.
And lastly, the thing I did was, of course, some more stuff with Docker, and I got it working. So that it's really, I have you just call a branch or you name a branch, and then it builds and everything, and just yeah, that's it. It's very cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see at some point. I'd love to, yeah, if you could do a hangout and kind of walk us through that as briefly or as complexly as you want. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I will upload them to public places and then write a wiki, and then you can just download them and play with them if you want to. Yeah, there's only one thing, and that's because there's 2 containers for this system. There's the Ruby container and the Postgres container. I actually need a host name in our application, and we don't provide that because it's everywhere. It's localhost, I guess.
Yeah.
At the moment, if we could just have a host and a host environment variable,
right,
in the database YAML, that would work great. Because now I always have to make that one change, and that means I can't just pull the branches from the main repository. I have to do it myself.
What about in our .env? Well, so you may not have it in your .env, but the .env can hold environment variable so that when it's deployed on Capistrano, it holds one called production server. Is that an example?
Yeah, I've seen that one. It's in, but that doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean that it's it doesn't call Postgres on that.
I see. So you need the, I see. So you need that in the database YAML.
Yeah, Postgres should be called with another name than localhost because there's two containers for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's only one line in the database YAML, but I didn't want to do it because, well...
Without discussing first, yeah. Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe you could set it up in default and put an if statement. You know, set this, fetch this environment variable if it's, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's empty, it reverts to localhost anyway. So it doesn't. I think it doesn't do anything. It doesn't give any problems, but you never know. Perhaps we shouldn't do it in the production part, but only in the development and test part.
Right, or we could set some other flag saying, you know, using Docker, if using Docker, or, you know, blah, 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 something. At any rate, yeah, we can do that. But yeah, I'd love to see that at some point because I've played. It's been a while since I played around with Docker and.
Yeah, and I understand it's even possible. I didn't try that yet, but I'm going to try to use it with RubyMine. So your whole development environment is not needed on your local machine. You just need the Docker images, and then you can work with RubyMine. But I haven't tried that yet. So.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, chapter 2.
Or later.
But it's nice to see. It's nice to see. I tried the 5.1 Rails branch from Patrick, just building it, and that worked great. So.
Oh, great! Yeah. Good.
Okay. Well, I guess we should finish up Scrum and then.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Just one more thought. Well, just thinking a little bit about staging environments. That might make it easier to deploy to staging and such. At any rate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me, mostly I was learning more about JavaScript and all that, and I didn't get a chance to come back and work on this whole issue much yesterday, like I thought I would. But yeah, I too am puzzled, like, why won't Poltergeist work in this situation? It's just not clear to me. And so I'm not happy that we have to use Selenium. However, if that's kind of what it is, it is. It does make me think that maybe we should be running our JavaScript tests using JavaScript testing tools. That might be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we could use, for instance, Jasmine, but Jasmine is a unit level JavaScript testing tool. We still need integration tests.
Yeah.
At the Cucumber level, we can't get away from that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's mostly where I am. I did happen to have a quick conversation with some people about setting up the email, and it's simpler than it's way simpler than I thought. We don't have to really set up any email. We just need to set up our there's our active mail. All right, I have a quick note somewhere. We just need to set up some things correctly to point to the Mailgun host, and then whenever mail is created in our app, it will send that information to the Mailgun host, essentially just through the HTTP pipeline. So we don't have to set up any kind of email stuff on our server, which is great. So that just kind of happened in a conversation I was having. I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Is this what I need to do? And, you know, it's much simpler. So that's good. So back to this.
So just so the Mailgun credentials are in the .env file, so it should just work. But anyway.
Yeah. So we should be really So so that should be really quick to set up now. But back to this never-ending custom reason feature. My thought is that I'll work on this for another day or so, and if I can't really get this wrapped up, then it's clear I need help. But I think so, because I think, Patrick, you've done the heavy lifting for us. And so once I get, like Robert, I've got to get the Selenium piece installed to get the tests working. So once I do that and understand it, I think we're done.
I could take another run at trying to refactor those 4 tests that are failing, see if we can get away with Poltergeist. Also, I think your testing was pretty good coverage. Actually, did a good job of putting together a bunch of scenarios, exercising the JavaScript. So the only thing I know outstanding is the bug that I posted to you on Slack, or the channel, the project channel yesterday,
Right.
Which I decided, well, you know, I'm not going to dive into this right now. Maybe we'll come back to. So I could take another look at that too, but everything else, it's working as advertised.
Yeah. So I want to do that so that I make sure I really.
Yeah, I didn't want. I feel like I've kind of hijacked your PR, but I didn't mean to.
No, I don't feel that at all. It's more, you know, it's a big learning curve for me getting these pieces together. I really avoided JavaScript. And so this is forcing me to learn it in bits and pieces. So yeah, I'm happy to do it, and I'm delighted for the help. So I don't
Okay, great.
at all. I just want to. I'm now to the point where I want to get this done.
Yeah, no, I share that pain. So I think a couple of things. One is, it's, you know, when you're typing in your custom reason text, generally we do see an on-change event when you leave the view because you've clicked on a menu that go elsewhere.
Right.
But to Robert's point, when you click the back arrow, there is no on-change event that's generated, and that entered data is lost, assuming you haven't hit carriage return or something.
Right, right.
So that's why I posted that story yesterday, which to me, have you ever seen these forums where you start typing something in a field or altering, and all of a sudden there's a little save button that pops up to the right or somewhere thereabouts? So to remind you to save your changes before you leave the view. So that would be actually pretty trivial, well, pretty easy to add, because there is an event that fires for every character for every time you make any change to existing or new text field data information. And we could basically tie that to making the save button appear. When the save button is clicked, it would trigger a change event, and you've already got a callback for on change, which would then fire and save the text. It actually would fit right into what you've already got in your architecture now.
But then we would have a button that would save the stuff, and not using the button would also save it.
Well,
if a person wanted to enter text and then hit carriage return, then what would happen is that we would save the text and the button would disappear. But if
the button gets confusing, and because we already have. However, I think a way to approach that is, I mean, the key is that you need to clue in the user that they have changed something.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you go back or whatever, it's going to change. So another way to approach that might be to, as soon as they start typing, change the color of the border around the field. So the text, you know, that custom text box, just change it to red or something. That's a visual, and assuming people aren't tremendously red-green colorblind, maybe I'll make it bold also, or at any rate. But the point is, provide a visual cue that information has been changed, right?
Well, it's not. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. To me, that's not explicit. If I'm a new person, I don't know what that change border means.
Yeah,
I agree. I think.
but for me, the problem. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Robert.
Well, the problem with the save button for me is I would expect it, if I didn't use the save button, that it wouldn't be saved. So if I type something and I press a menu, I would expect it not to be saved. which isn't the case. So that's as confusing as not having a save button.
Plus now we get back to this problem that we're trying to avoid in the first place, is we already have a save button for the whole page. And so to have to...
Do we?
Now we have an edit button.
No, we don't have any save button. Remember, we had a form there and we removed the form. So there's really, and we're not talking about form save here. We're talking about save text area contents and stay on that page. But yeah, so I see Robert's point. So if I type text in and I decline, I don't hit the save button, but I hit a menu to go elsewhere, then it's saved.
Yeah.
If I type text in and I hit carriage return, then I know it's saved because the button disappears. But yeah, okay.
Well, I'm entering a placeholder pivotal tracker story because I think, yeah, this is a user interaction that we need to think through, and then and then the Patrick, I think you're right, and then the implementation might not be too hard, but we need to think through the user interaction. And my sense is part of what is making this so tangled is this. I mean, the administrator is changing this information.
Yeah.
It should be on an edit page. We need to separate this capability with, we need to break up this page, and I think there's an easier story for that somewhere. So.
Yeah, that's the best solution, because then it's, with the rest of the application, it's in line with what you would think how it would work.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So.
Okay.
So that's what I've been thinking about mostly. Yeah, try not to melt here. There was something else, but it's out of my head, so that's fine. I guess it's just you all saw that I posted in Slack. I'll connect with this woman in Facebook when we're closer to time.
Oh, this new person,
Yeah.
this new client. Okay.
You have met her already, or not yet? Okay.
Bella. That's his name.
So, Robert, your point, though, I think is a good one, but even if we don't do any additional thing to this view that we have, we still have that problem. If somebody types in some text and they decide, and they know that they should hit carriage return to save the data,
yeah,
and they say, well, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go check company's listing right now, and they click on that menu link. The data is saved. It will be.
Yeah.
So we're going to have that problem regardless of whether we alert.
No, but that's not a problem then, is it? It's
well, it is, to your point, because
so
they're assuming because they didn't hit carriage return, let's say, the input focus is still on the text area field, and then they go to another menu. Since they didn't hit a carriage return, which we trained them to do to save it, the data's saved, but they didn't explicitly do anything to save it. To your point, though, there is no save button, which sets the expectation that if they don't hit the save button, things don't get saved when they never get away.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where we're just going to have to make a decision. I don't know if there's any clean way, 100% clean way to do it.
Well, the clean way is Ashley's suggestion, I think. Just making it another page with a save button and because
just go back to a standard form-based thing.
Yeah, you're really editing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and then it's in line with the rest of the application.
That's an interesting dilemma.
Yeah, user interaction on a web REST-based thing.
Or actually, you've suggested that if we actually detect that we're both losing focus and we're actually leaving the page, and we're leaving the page because of browser's back button was pressed, not because another link was clicked. Then we can pop up, are you sure you want to leave this unsaved changes type thing? That's probably doable as well. I don't know the events that we'd have to look for to get that, but it's probably some hook we can use.
Yeah, and that's the one I've seen, and I've come across that before and played with it a little bit. There's some document leave or maybe page leave or something. Right, there is a hook for it.
But still,
we need
that's
a page.
A user interaction pattern. So.
But there's still the problem that we have a page where there's an edit button that we don't use, and we edit it, and it feels strange.
Well, we've rationalized it because we edit the application, but on the page we're talking about, we're actually changing metadata related to the application, not the application itself, right? It has to do with business process management of the application, not the content of the application.
Yeah, so I just made the Pibble Tracker story, so I think that's what we're coming to. We've got to change them.
Interesting thing to have to think about. Layers of the onion.
Yeah.
So should we talk about what we might do with Bella, this new client, and...
Well, do you want to look at Sprint 17 real quick?
Oh.
Lee? just to make sure we're all in sync on what's going on there. And then that will lead into what are we going to do with Bella, or whoever that is. Chores, all done. That's good. Optimize queries, not done yet on that. Do you want to queue up a demo for this waiting for info where we are at this point, or is it premature, Ashley? It sounds like it's premature.
It's a little premature. And
okay. Yeah. All right. So then we got a bunch of chores that have been completed. I don't know if we have anything to demo today.
We might want to, if she's new and she's used it.
Yeah.
Has used it. So it may be more talking about our priorities, like this is what we're thinking going forward. I mean, one, it sounds like she has some feedback for us, and that's great. And so I think making sure we get that recorded, and then two, saying here's what we're thinking, here's the direction we're going, here's the priorities next, the emails. So it might be demoing with those in mind. That's kind of my thinking about that.
Yeah, that sounds good. The other thing we could do is that we could ask her if she's two things. We could say, we understand that you found a couple of problems. We've already created issues for that in our tracker, but let's just make sure that we understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we do that.
Yeah, I think that's first.
And then do you have any other questions or comments on the application as it exists since you've been using it? So I guess I can start editing the client meeting thing. So let's do that right now. So let's see. All right, so we'll do the standard review of our Sprint stuff, right? I don't think we have anything to demo. We want to look at Sprint 18. We actually don't have anything in Sprint 18 yet. We haven't done that yet, have we?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. So we review work in progress plan. We'll get. Do you want to do essentially this kind of thing, Ashley? Review and prioritize. Review, prioritize priorities.
Right.
Do you want to do that? Is that essentially what you're suggesting? Okay.
Yeah. Right. Just so my thought is so that she knows where we're heading and she has feedback about that.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll take that in.
So we'll do that. All right. And do you want to, should we use the same? So Should we use just the same list here, you think?
I think so. I mean, it should be correct.
Yeah. We had the discussion with Susanna, which is great, but it's good to have it with another person as well so that they come up to speed in the same conversation.
Yeah, and if,
I think I'd go ahead, actually.
and if Susanna's not here, then we have
The only one, the first one is the one we had. The admin can reset the password. We've done that
right,
already.
let's just take that out.
Yeah, because we've discussed that a lot.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one admin can reset the password.
Okay. I think we've been trying to say we don't need to do that. We're trying to get them to say we don't need to do that.
Well, it's kind of accomplished, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we just go right to the self-service model. Oops. All right, so what have we got so far? So we'll go through Sprint 16, and then we'll go through what she's observed about the application. We'll go through her 2 stories and make sure that we understand them, etc. She may have questions about how to use it. Review, let me fix that. Let's see, how about user feedback? That, so we go through all of that stuff.
So really, I mean, client feedback is going to be earlier. That's it.
Yeah, these things are always hard to get sequencing correct because we usually get into discussions before. Hey, wait, we're not in the agenda yet for that, so we can't talk about it. Don't want to be that dogmatic about it. And then maybe that's it. We just talk about, let's say the 26th. So what's 2 weeks from now?
July, I can't believe it.
Does anybody know? What's that? 10th? Thank you. Thank you.
He's amazing.
And is it?
Single tools. July 10th.
July, yeah.
How do you say, what do you call July in Dutch?
Juli.
Juli?
Juli.
It's August 10th, right?
No, July.
Don't please.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I already jumped ahead. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got here in terms of an agenda. So this may be short, or we may have a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah.
And anything else we want to do with this person?
Oh, that might be plenty.
Yeah. Is there anything we want to show her demo? Unless she asked for it, but this part we may get into. She's asking questions, so we'll just fire up the application and go through it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So should I say hello to her in Facebook? Oh, I see.
Yeah. So we're officially in Sprint 18, right? At this point?
Right.
Okay. Make changes appropriately.
Oh, she has beautiful pictures of ducks on her Facebook.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that goes with the territory, huh? With this clientele. I wish there was a quick way to do this stuff without going through this very laborious edit each one. That's already done. Have you guys ever tried this new call mechanism in Slack?
No.
We should try it for one of these meetings.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. Yeah, I don't remember like the free versus the paid Slack and all of that stuff.
Well, I did it with Paul Caston. He's in Australia, the other day.
Oh, good. So it's set up for the Agile Ventures one.
It's yep. Well, yeah. It's Slack. So if you have Slack, it works.
Okay.
And if you create a meeting within a channel, the link for it is posted in the channel. It's available right there. And it was really nice. He's in Australia, etc. Sometimes we have trouble with audio with Google Hangouts, and video quality is not great sometimes. This thing was, it was like he was in the next room. I was very impressed with it, and it was really easy to figure out how to share a screen, how to manage your audio setting, turn up, mute yourself, all of that stuff. It was really, really straightforward. It's really nice. I was very impressed with it. We should give it a shot for one of these meetings of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of fun. I think it was less. I don't know. Hangouts are great, but sometimes it seems a bit clunky with a lot of overhead. And sometimes the Agile Ventures Hangout UI, of course, is different than if you go and create it directly, as you guys know. And that can throw people off too. Where are the UI controls for doing things? It's different. So I really liked it.
Huh. Yeah, that does sound really good.
Yeah. The problem is you got to be on Slack, so it wouldn't. I don't know if you could create it and then send a link to that. I think everybody has to be on Slack, so using it with clients would be a bit of a problem.
That's good. That's good to know. That's a decent tool, or even a good tool.
Yeah, well, I know they bought Screen Hero, I think like in 2015, quite a while ago. I think they may have bought some other.
Oh.
So the Screen Hero probably gives them the screen sharing thing, and they probably bought somebody else for the video call. But it's come together. I was waiting for a while. It was taking them a while to integrate. It's come together really nicely. Really beautifully.
Okay.
So can we, Robert, should we click this as finished?
Yes.
Okay, great. And this is still outstanding. Let's see, this is still outstanding. I think one more review for that. Unless...
It's not, okay, is that outstanding, the seats one?
I reviewed it. Do we only have the one review? If we only have one review, we're probably okay with it. But so we just have my review so far. If we're okay with that, we can go ahead and finish it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ashley?
If you don't mind, Ashley.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Good.
Okay. And then 5.1, do you want to look at that, Ashley, or did you want to?
I'm sure it's fine, but I would like to look at it and just run through it.
Yeah, do that. I think the other thing is not that it's a big deal, but I did try to capture some things that I saw when moving. There were surprisingly a handful of problems to deal with, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be, push the button and you're done.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've seen a couple people over on the Go Rails group run into bits. I don't think we have anything to worry about, but yeah, I know there's some bumps in there.
Yeah, I got through all of these, but anyway, it's just good stuff to know.
Yeah.
For instance, in Rails 5.1, if you have a belongs to association, in 5.0, it did not verify the presence of the other side of the association. Now it does, and that broke quite a few of our places of code. But if you specify optional true, it doesn't verify the other side of the association, for instance. So, that's interesting to know. So that worked out. Okay, so we'll leave that, and then I'm still working on this one here. And everything else has been moved to Sprint 18, so I'm going to refresh this. So Sprint 18 now has a bunch of stuff, I think very little in terms of programming, so we really should start pulling stuff in from the backlog.
Right.
For the icebox.
And Susanna had one she put in about information about it applying. My sense is that there's need to think through the overall user interaction, kind of user flow,
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if somebody is applying, are they seeing the right information? How is that presented? The user flow for admin updating the membership status, things like that. There's some, it's time to think through some.
We probably also want to put in the 2 stories that Susanna entered for the client.
Right.
Do you?
Yeah.
Those are the ones?
Well, that's, yeah, one of them is, yeah.
Do you know which ones these are?
Yeah, I've got one up. So let me send it to you in either. So here's one of them in the Google chat. And let's see.
In order for using how to apply these.
So that's really, that's what I'm talking about. That's an overall kind of user flow. The user
Oh, great.
story is, right, I want to apply. And so how is that information presented to me? So that's what I'm talking about. Some of the, it's time for that to be cleaned up some.
Got it. Okay. So you've already got it. What was the second one?
The second one was like smaller. Let's see, I'm scrolling back. Susanna, so that.
Was it this one? The one about missing translation when editing application?
Yeah, I think it was a smaller.
So this is good. So we could queue up the discussion with the client, especially on this one, the need more information business.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. And you've already got both of them in Sprint 18. That's great.
Susanna put them in. So.
Oh, she did. Okay. Make admin change to admin. Yep. So you put that in there.
Oh, I know.
These kind of go together.
I know the other thing is, just I'd mentioned in Slack, you know, I put stuff into an epic. Actually, I had to find 2 epics. So we can see how that works for us in Pivotal Tracker, being able to keep stories and track them in that level.
Okay. How do I see an epic?
So you can go along the left-hand menu. One of those icons is epics, the little shields. There you go.
Which one is the?
So
this one here.
Yeah. So if you just click on that and scroll down, then you'll see that there are stories that are tagged with it. Again,
where do I see the stories that are?
Add view stories, the blue bold text. Scroll up. There.
Oh, it opens this. I see.
Then it pops it up the details. So not the way I would have designed the user interface, but
I suppose I could click on the label as well, but that might be used for other stories as well. So this.
No. So that's essentially how it does.
That is that the label equals the epic. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and
okay.
You can see that the label for epics does show up like at a different color or something. So there is a little visual cue that this label, it's in purple, is different than other labels, but that's how they do it. It's tagged.
So let's see now. I'm seeing. Am I seeing 5 stories here when it tells me that there are 6 stories in this? Where's the 6? Am I not seeing something?
Accepted. If you up at the top says show 1 accepted story.
Oh, I see. Got it. So it hides that by default, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't particularly care for this, but anyway, now that I know how it works, it'll work.
Yeah, what it will do is just give us a way to remember that these stories belong, are tagged, are in this group.
Yeah.
So that as, go ahead, Robert.
No. Okay, it looks good.
Yeah, so we'll see. So particularly as stories cut across different sprints, it just helps remember.
Yep. Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. Good
Okay.
thing.
So I'm gonna send a message to Bella in Facebook.
Okay.
Or try.
Okay, I'm afraid I have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, Rob.
So I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
I think Sprint 18 is still light on programming stuff, but once we get through the priorities review with the client, maybe we'll get guidance on stuff we can add.
Yeah, and my hope is that, we'll get the email thing will be trivial to set up and we'll be able to start on those stories.
Yeah.
But I think there's some overall UI stuff to be not complicated, but just to be rethought through, information organized better.
Yeah.
So the admin, breaking up the admin stuff, what do users see when they first come in, or people who want to become members, I guess those are users.
Mm-hmm.
How does that flow work? What is the information percent? I think it's time to clean some of that up.
Yeah.
So.
Too bad Laura wasn't still on the project. She helped a lot on the MetPlus project. That UI was just a Frankenstein bolted together by disparate developers without a coherent view of what the UI should be. And she came up with a really nice redesign of the whole thing.
Yeah, I never spent any time really focused on this. I would like to, but it's just I'm more interested in coming up the learning curve than other things right now.
Yes, me too.
So
I don't think of myself as a very good UI designer, but I've learned quite a bit working on these projects.
that is, actually, the information organization presentation is a strength of mine. Making it pretty, that level of UI design is not mine. My strength. Okay, so do you want to? Can you send an email to Bella?
Yeah. Let's see.
You scroll back to get her. Okay. Center.
Oh, did you put the email somewhere in the?
I thought that it was
If you can give it to me on, say, the
in Google
chat.
Yeah, let me look. I'm looking in there.
Oh, you don't have it, huh?
Oh, here it is. You have to invite. I'll need to clean up my screen so that I can. There it is.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so invitations sent.
And I put a message in Facebook to her saying you were going to send it. So I don't know that she's logged into Facebook. That's just in case.
Okay. Adding that to my OneNote.
Yeah. Oh gosh, my system is really slowing down. So shut some.
And what is her name?
Well, I think Bella. I don't know. That's the name of like her Facebook page. Well, Bella's dogs. It's Bella Den. So I don't know if that's really her first name or not.
Look at and that's the name of her company, Bella's Dogs? Oh, we don't know.
Yeah. That's the name of her Facebook page, but I don't know if that's... Maybe that is...
No. Is there a Belbo in training? DEL. When I see it, it starts with DEL. Well, loading that Google stuff, Google Map stuff is slow, isn't it? I couldn't cache that, but there's...
I'm trying to get my... I'm not quite following what you're doing at the moment.
Oh, I'm just on the production site.
Okay, so...
I'm just seeing if I could find a Bella's Dog company, but could not.
Oh, search for the word Bella. Or H-U-N-D with an accent of you.
Oops, somebody joined us. Alina.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Ashley.
Hi, I'm Susanna. And I'm Paulina.
Hi, I'm Patrick.
Hi.
So I think, I don't know if Susanna, the other Susanna, will be able to join us. I know she's busy. So Susanna didn't tell us. So one of you is the owner or runs Bella Hunden. And sorry, I don't speak Swedish.
That's okay. I am Bella.
And so I can't quite see. There's. So what have you?
I'm Bella.
Hi, Bella. I don't have dogs right now. I'm dogs, but I went on Facebook to send you a message there in case that's where you connected. And I love the picture of your dogs there, your cover photo. My last dog was a mix, but she was part German Shepherd, and so she was very much a monitor. You know, she kept track of everything. She's very much had that sense and look about her also. And then my grandparents had a German Shepherd Collie mix that was lovely. So your dogs there, the shepherds and the collies.
Thank you.
Maybe it'd be useful for us to just kind of introduce ourselves and talk about our roles really quickly.
Yes.
So
Good.
I'll just go. Yeah. So my name is Patrick Bolger. I'm here in the U.S. in Massachusetts, the east coast of the U.S. And I'm a developer on the project, kind of co-developing with Ashley and another participant who had to drop, Robert, not able to be here. And so between the three of us, we pretty much do everything, from development through production, through you name it, what has to be done, as well as Susanna. So that's my role. And I joined the project after it had been started by Susanna and Ashley, and you guys already had version 1 up and running. So I've been on the project for quite a while, but I wasn't on day one. So Ashley, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, my name is Ashley England, and I'm out here in Seattle on the opposite coast of the U.S. And I happened into this organization, Agile Ventures, right at the time Susanna was getting this started, or wanted to get this project started for SHF. So she and I met each other and connected online and started putting this together. So I do development. I've been a software engineer since the 80s. So I do, development, and like Patrick and I have, like he said, share the roles, whatever needs to be done. Some project management, development, work with Susanna, managing the projects, trying to figure out priorities, and getting this out to users. So that's who I am. How about you all?
Yes, my name is Susanna in real life, but it's okay to call me Bella so we don't get mixed up, Susanna and I.
It's fine, either.
I work as accountant, and even here I am accountant. So have a little bit patience with me regarding IT questions. It's not my strong skills. Therefore, I have been involved, my daughter, Paulina, so she's a little bit Google Translate to explain that means that. So she is actually not involved in this, but I have been involved since February. So I'm quite new.
Well, that's about when you joined in, Patrick, sometime around there.
Yeah, that's probably about right. So your daughter just wants to see how this video conferencing thing works?
And it's doing Google Translate for us if needed, huh? So Paulina, yeah, so you're her daughter, and
yeah, I'm just here to help her understand most of the computer stuff.
Perfect. Well,
good.
Excellent. And so Susanna, you have those dogs, and do you have a dog-related business?
Yes, I'm a trainer at the spare time and have courses and like that, yes.
Good.
What's the name of your company, Bella?
Superima.
What was that?
Superima, SUMPER. Something like that?
Yeah.
I don't see you in the companies listing. Yeah, on the
Should
side.
be there somewhere.
Oh.
I think, because I was looking on Facebook, it's like Supima. Is that how it's spelled?
Yeah, you may, something like that.
Oh, yeah, now I see it. I'm going to mispronounce this. Superima.
Yeah,
something like that.
We laugh a lot at our pronunciations and, using Google Translate.
Yeah, but not everyone here can pronounce it either.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better, but
so there it is, right?
Yep.
Nice job putting that photo there. That's great.
Thank you.
You guys where are you located here?
It's quite near Stockholm.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know why. Is Stockholm shown here? It's just shown in Swedish?
say something. You just need to
make this bigger. Well, anyway,
um,
there you are, right there. Cool. So is it okay if we now get into kind of the standard meeting form? You guys okay? Okay. So what we tend to do is we have these meetings. Let me declutter my screen here. Screen. So we have these client meetings every 2 weeks typically. And we go through pretty much a standard agenda each time. One is we review the prior sprint, which actually was sprint 17. We just completed sprint 17. So
Susanna, when we, or Pauline, when we say sprint, does that mean anything to you? Probably not.
yeah, I was just going to.
Okay. So,
A period of time when you do stuff.
yeah, exactly. So what we tend to do is we do small, quick bits of work. In that period of time, we call it a sprint. It's like a short, a short run. And so for this project, a sprint is about 2 weeks. So we'll figure out what it is we need to do, and we'll try to accomplish it. And then we review it with the clients, with you all, to see, how is this? Is this right, or what feedback? So the goal is that we have frequent interactions, frequent discussions, instead of setting up a big long list and then we go away for months at a time and then we come back, pop up 3 months later. Instead of doing that, it's to make sure that we work together as frequently as possible. And so that's the overall process. So we call that 2-week period a sprint.
It sounds very structured. So good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called what we call is agile software development. That's the process. You may have heard that term, but it's the thing that software developers do these days. There's a whole set of practices and tools and processes that are used that comprise agile software development, but that's one of them. And the 2-week sprint, the end of the sprint coincides with the next client meeting. So we basically finished sprint 17, that 2-week sprint last Friday. And so we're meeting with clients so we can review what we did, get feedback, get approval for things that we changed that the client should review and say yes or no against. So that's how it works. These tend to be a half hour, maybe a little bit more. This one might take longer because it's new for everybody, but we tend to try to make these pretty efficient and get through them quickly. So for what we did for this agenda was we wanted to go through what we did. That'll be very quick. We don't really have anything visible to show you on this sprint. Typically, at a client meeting, we'll show you visible things, changes we made in the user interface. This sprint didn't have any of those things, so we won't show you a demo per se of something we completed during the sprint. But then we wanted to get right into what you've experienced, Susanna. You said that the other Susanna had told us that you've used the application. In fact, you found a couple of issues, and we've already created what we call issues or stories for those to be addressed. We want to go over those and understand them better as well. But get your feedback on the application so far. And then we thought we might go through some ideas we have on where we can enhance the application, some things we could do. And that's pretty much it. And then just confirm when we're going to meet again for the next client meeting. So with that, let me just go get the first one out of the way, which is review what we did in this sprint.
Let me just say hey to the other Susanna. You're now the other Susanna.
No, I'm the first.
The first. Susanna the first.
So we got to switch back to Bella then. So I don't know.
Patrick can't handle it. So we just an introduction, and we're just explaining about what a sprint was and going through the agenda. So we were just getting started going through.
Yeah. I heard that, by the way, Ashley. I'm here, so just so you know. Anyway, so some of the stuff I'll just really briefly mention. Much of this, in fact, if you see that little gear there, that means it's what we call a chore. It's kind of underneath the hood. It's not something that user visible. So we don't spend a lot of time talking about it.
Om du klickar på hans ikon längst ner så blir den större skärmen. Om ni inte har gjort det redan.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I said that if you click on Patrick's icon in the bottom, the screen becomes larger if you haven't done that already.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to send a link to that agenda. So that. Okay, Pat.
Yeah, so one of the things we do with the software is we make sure it's tested. So we develop software that you guys see that drives what you see, but we also make sure we develop automated tests that test the software. So if we make a change, we know if anything breaks. So these are test stories here. We've added tests to the software to more extensively test the software. This is an update on some of the foundation software that we build on top of. One foundation is called Ruby. So this is just an upgrade to the latest version of that Ruby language, the programming language. This is a refactoring. You'll hear the term from us, refactoring. That means that we built code and we want to go back and we want to change the code a little bit, reorganize it to make it more efficient, to make it more readable, to make it better. So we use the term refactor when we go back and redo things. Again, that's under the hood. You don't see it, but it makes the software more robust and better organized. This is a refactoring thing here. This is actually something visible. I could actually show you that, but that's where, actually, let me hold off on that. I just enhanced the ability to sort. When you go in and you look at companies, you can sort by column. This story here really just means it speeds up the sorting, the presentation of the sorted information. This is refactoring and a design story, and this is another refactoring story. This story here is still underway. We haven't finished that yet, but when we have that done, which will be by the next client meeting, you'll be able to see what we're doing on the waiting for info from user situation, where you have a pending application. You move this application to the status of waiting for info, and then you specify why you're waiting, what kind of information you're waiting on from the user. So that's still underway.
Just click on that to open it up, just to see. Okay, so this is the tool that we use called Purple Tracker that tracks all these tasks and to-dos. And so when Patrick, and this is the story I've been working on, so he's just clicked to show all the details for that. And just to give you a sense of how we are tracking and working. So we record what needs to be done, and for this particular task, we call the user story, because this is something a user needs to do, and it's kind of a little story about here a user comes in and this is what they want to accomplish, and this is how it might go. So for this user story, as I've been working on it, we refined it as we reviewed it with Ulrika and Susanna. How about if it looks like this? What if it looks like this? What if the user did that? And then there's some technical things I've had to work on as we've developed it and refined it and figured out more about what it looks like. As Patrick was saying, once we're close to being finished, we have you all review it, the client, and give us feedback, whatever that feedback is we want. Small feedback, I don't like that color. Big feedback, I don't think this does what we want. We really want it. So then Patrick or one of us will change the state of this task. The client, would you all think this is all fine and working like it should be? And then we'll accept it, and that's that green button. And then once it's been accepted, you all have given it the okay, then we'll do the technical things to get it into the real production system. So, exactly.
Did everybody get that? I think, Ashley, you're breaking, at least on my side, you're breaking up a little bit on that.
Okay.
Did everybody get what Ashley was saying in terms of the process?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. So I just moved it to Sprint 18. We started today because we didn't finish it in Sprint 17. at the end of Sprint 18, you'll review it, and you'll tell us which of these buttons to hit. Accept means you accept it as we delivered it, or reject, you said, no, it's got to be reworked, there's something missing, whatever. So anyway, we're probably telling you more than you need to know right now. The reason is we want to get you a little bit comfortable with some of the lingo we might use, some of the terms. And if we don't catch ourselves and explain it, we want you to at least have some familiarity, some feeling for what the terms mean. This is another kind of refactoring thing. And this is something to do with making sure that our code is adequately tested and we know whether it's 100% or 90% tested, etc. That's essentially it. So you can see this Sprint 17 was a lot of stuff underneath the hood, not a lot of stuff to show you. Yeah. Sprint 18 will have some more things there for you. And that's it for what we just did in the last 2 weeks. The next item that we had on the agenda, we thought we would just talk about your experiences, Bella, with using the system. We also know, as I mentioned before, that there's been 2 stories or issues created by Susanna based upon your feedback, and we can go over that. One of them, we really want to understand a little bit more of what you're thinking about there, and what you and Susanna are thinking about. But anyway, I just thought maybe if you could maybe describe how you've been using the application and any kind of thoughts you have now on what we've done, and then maybe we can get into those 2 specific issues.
Yes, I created the user just, what was it, a couple of days ago. And when I first entered this to be a user, I created my name and email, and the text in that window was a little bit confusing because it wasn't saying go and push there and continue to create your account. It was more saying, oh, you are going to receive email. So that was something Susanna and I discussed, that we need to put more text there to make the user understand what's expected from him or her. So I'm not quite sure what the meaning is that you have 2 places, that you first create this application and then you fill in your information. Couldn't that be in one and same window?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm following, and I'm writing little notes so that we all.
Yeah, and maybe Susanna can explain why it is so, but that's just what I experienced.
Good.
So
yes.
Great.
I have the same question still, but I know there's a good reason for it.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we can, yeah, make it. I always want to make it better. So.
Yeah. And then we go to the next page where we put all the information and like that. And I saw in this agenda that one point is going to have one more address, that it's the billing address, because now when I understand in last sprint you created this possibility to change where the red dot ends on the map. We were a little bit playing around with that, and we had some problems because you want the address to be to your company, so your invoice ends at the right place, but the red dot ended in very strange places, even if we changed the address or whatever we took. So it would be nice if you could by yourself decide, I wanted that red dot to be there on the map. That's maybe too advanced to build, I'm sure, but
you could add
something.
The red dot should be where the address is, and if it is not, then Google has something wrong with that particular address.
Yeah, we had a problem because we put a couple of different places and the dots ended up a couple of kilometers away.
Then I think it's a problem with Google.
Yeah,
or
probably,
you had the visibility set for city and not for street.
But it sounds like making that easy to use is really important.
Yes.
Can I Bella, what I'd like to do once you've gone through this list, I'd like to go to the production site, and if you could show us what you saw, I'll go ahead and show this on the screen what we're seeing, because there may be a bug in the software, so we need to look at that.
Okay,
Other than that, we think that everything works fine.
Oh, good.
There's nothing really to add on that. We have looked around and everything looks as perfect as it should be.
Can I share my screen then, and then let's, Bella, if you could walk us through creating that issue that you saw, the dot on the map thing.
Fint.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I don't think I have to be logged in to do this, do I? Actually, I probably should.
You have to be somebody, either admin or a user.
To be able to,
Okay, let me log in then. Okay. So, Bella, tell me what I need to do to create this problem.
Well, go to any company.
You can find my company.
Yeah, that was Sue. There we go.
Yes.
And let's look at the company, and you've got your, so this red dot here, so let me go.
You have the visibility set on municipality for kommun.
Yeah.
So this, and that's what you expect.
That's okay. We ended that was the best way, but it's not the way I would like to have it, to be honest.
How would you?
right. Yeah, that's what we want to hear.
Could you go to the page where you change the information for the company?
Yeah. So you want to change visibility to some other level?
Street.
Street, but we know that's wrong since Google is wrong. Yeah. But if
we can try. We can try, and then you can show Patrick.
But Google hates Google hates our address.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not there.
Nope.
That's interesting.
But
Okay.
you can actually
Google.
change your information on Google.
So
Somehow.
that might, Stella and Paulina, so if this happens, my thought is you all would like to be able to say somehow, so that either we as developers know, or at any rate to say this isn't the right location. The red is not where it should be. And then if that's at least flagged somehow, then Patrick and Susanna, my thought is that then we can maybe give them information about how to go change it on Google, or at least point people to that.
Well, so Bella, when you saw that, and Paulina, there is this thing, report an error. Did you try that?
No, we didn't try.
You can, okay.
You can even edit the map and move it.
Yeah, we may try that.
What we're trying to do was...
then you move the roads.
So go ahead.
We're trying to change, instead of Nynäshamn, we ended Haninge.
Ended up what?
Location?
Yeah. Yes, location. We're trying to, we can be at the other place instead of home. So if you go to the page where you change the red dot, edit, yes.
This page.
And you, instead of Nynäshamn, you need to spell another place.
So you're entering kind of a fake address just so it shows up in a reasonable...
Yes. Because usually when I have these dog courses, I rent the place. So I meant, I put the red dot at the place I rent.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore I put in H. H-A. If you go up. 3 down. HA down.
Down.
One more.
There you go.
and that should be as for you, Susanna, where you're living.
Homestead?
But instead you end in forest, so it's still wrong place.
Well, I don't live in Haninge, I live in Halmstad. But
yeah,
that's
but
fine.
it's not in the Halmstad. Think if it was 3 miles outside Halmstad. That's strange.
Okay, well that's interesting.
For me?
Yeah, but that's if you show on map now.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't save my changes. So
therefore, we're trying 3 different ways and ended up in
if you change the commune without changing the street, then the map icon won't move because the address visibility is on street,
yeah.
right?
No, but if you change this to commune, then it will change.
Then it should center on Haninge Commune Center, wherever that is.
Whatever Google thinks is the center of that.
So what's
address visibility from Gata to Commune?
So just while we're on this topic, though, what Susanna is saying is that if we change the commune here, but the address is still this street and this number, what will happen is that the mapping service will say, I don't find that street and that number on that street in that commune. So it will actually go and it'll keep going up in visibility level until it finds a match. Means it'll probably just go right to the commune and say, I can't find anything more detailed underneath us. But that's what'll happen.
Yeah, that sounds logic.
Yeah. So it does a logical search as best it can. So should I hit submit? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
This is your live thing, right? So it's okay.
No problem.
Okay. All right. So is that?
And then zoom out.
Better for you?
In the middle of the forest.
It's the middle of the forest. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Because, Google is placing that in the center of the commune.
So I think, Ashley, do you think there's any bug here? Do you think our software's working?
If you enter the address to the place you rent, will it center on that place?
Because Google knows that place, and so can you.
Then should my company address be wrong then?
Yes, for this purpose.
Yeah.
So here is how I think of this. So as a user, the user's problem is, or goal is, I want to get that marker, that red dot, in the right where I want it, wherever that is. And if Google can't map that address correctly, if I just type it in, I need a way to be able to put it where I want it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. As you're working through that, as a user, if you're doing this, and Google puts the dot in the middle of the woods or, some wrong place, it can't address it, you need a way to, you need to understand what to do next. So our system, the SHF system, needs to give you that information. It needs to be able to say, to go to Google and record it and play around that way, or
you have to find the place first on that particular map, then you perhaps can edit it.
Right, but the goal is that SHF, our system.
I was talking to Patrick.
Yeah, no, trying to figure that out. So
we need to give you the information about what do you do next. So ultimately, the SHF system should let you place that red dot exactly where you want it.
Okay, what's the municipality that is the real one? Which one was it?
How do you spell it?
NY.
Oh, L-I.
One up, 3 down,
NYN.
1 down. There you are.
There.
God, English
How
language.
does that pronounce?
Nynäshamn.
Nynäshamn.
New Nose Harbor.
What nose harbor?
New.
I
New
recognize the
harbor.
word new.
We all need a new nose.
Yeah.
So where's the real address on this map? Where would I find?
Our address. Full address.
Oh dear.
Our address isn't in Nynäshamn, unfortunately.
Not here?
No.
Is it? Where would I go to
It's-
find it? Left or right or up or down or
Up.
North.
up here?
Let's follow the red, pink 73.
Follow that road?
Yeah.
And stop.
Bit more.
Yeah, a bit more. Yeah.
Up.
Now you see a very 90 degrees
Angle.
turn. there, and
Here?
a little bit. Yes, there.
On that
There.
way?
Now you are almost
Yeah.
at our
Zoom
place.
in there. And you see the brown dot, Stockholm. That's our house.
That's
That's
our
your
name.
house there?
Yeah. Or our neighbor's house.
Ah.
So this instruction, when I say edit the map, it says click the road or road segments you want to fix. So I'll click the place. So I'm gonna read this to you. I'm sorry I can't do this in Swedish, otherwise I get lost. But it says click the place that you want to fix. So I'm gonna click on this thing.
But you don't want to fix that thing. That's not theirs. That's their neighbors. You want to fix the wrong thing on their address.
But the strange thing is that now the red dot is on our house.
So they have to fix their thing to be your neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big problem. So our address
So-
is just.
There's a lot of Google mapping that needs to be done there in
Yeah.
Ösmo.
No, unfortunately, nothing you can fix just like that.
Yeah. Okay, so if we can make this as easy as possible, that's the goal. And whether it's through this Google process or something else,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the-
that would be good.
I don't know if we can do that, but this is really, to me, this is very helpful to see exactly what it is you're trying to do and the problems you run into.
But I guess we could actually drag that to your neighbor's house while we're here.
I'm sorry, why do we want it to be in the neighbor's house?
Because that's their neighbor's company.
Yeah, the neighbor's company on our house.
So where's the neighbor's house? This one here, that one?
The big one.
The big one here?
Go around
Yep.
it.
That's the neighbor.
Yay!
Is this address correct?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. On that dot,
Yeah.
at least.
So I tell you what, that's where you want the red dot to appear for your address, right?
Not for
For
their
For
address.
the neighbor.
See, Patrick, you're fixing on the Stockholm start something,
Yeah.
something else,
But you should submit that's correct.
right?
They are not living at our house.
We can fix our house later. You have shown us how.
Okay.
Let's see if that helps. That didn't change.
No, it won't.
Did it?
No.
So you've
If they
tried this?
if they were their neighbors, it would have helped. But now they're not. So
I'll fix that later.
yes, and we can fix any other problems now we know how to do.
Exactly.
In the short term, then maybe if somebody runs into this problem that the red marker, the red dot is not showing up in the right location,
Yeah.
they can check a little box, and then somebody else, whether that's Susanna or somebody, can at least know somebody needs to go in and get this red dot located correctly. So just flagging it as a problem might be the first step.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. In Google Maps, the ability to fix it doesn't really help us much unless we can say that red dot is associated with this address at a different location than what you're showing me.
Yeah.
It does help. It's just you have to find the specific place in the wrong place and fix that.
Yeah.
A specific place in the wrong place.
You have to work through Google to get the marker. First go to, anyway, you have to work through Google.
You know what I mean, Ashley.
We have to translate from one language and culture to another, from one place to another. But we're doing it. Okay.
So it's doable through Google.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably. We haven't
Because this change is probably getting sent to some people at Google, and they have to see, is this probable? Okay, yes, let's do it.
Well, right.
Or computers or whatever.
It's the computer data, right? Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
It is.
Okay, so we've captured that. We've also captured the idea that feedback to the project team would also be useful in this situation. But maybe if this does work, we should add instructions on how to go ahead and report a map error so that the user can do that themselves as well somewhere.
Right.
Or we can have that as a service. The administrator we will hire eventually.
That's true. Somebody in the organization could do it on behalf of the company. Yeah. Okay.
The important thing is that somebody knows we know it's a problem. That's the first step. Be able to flag it, check a little box saying, oh, this marker, this red dot is not in the location I wanted. That's the first step.
So, Bella and Susanna, have you heard from anybody else, any other users, that the red dot is not correctly located for their particular company?
I'm not even sure they've been looking at it. But no, I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
You have not? Okay. Bella, do you live in a place that's kind of far afield and not near anything? In a remote spot?
A bit like that.
I know Google Mapping Ustroline, I think it still does driving, cars that go through and automatically catalog what's going on and what's at what location. I think to some degree they're doing aerial stuff now, but that's limited. So if you do live in an area that's sparsely populated, that's kind of far off beaten path, as we say, there's probably going to be errors more likely with Google than otherwise. If you live in the city, it'd show you exactly where you're at, probably.
Yeah.
So, probably what's been happening.
And a lot of dog people do have off the beaten path locations.
Yeah, because we need room for their dogs to run around. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks a lot, Bella. That was great. Now we understand a lot better. So we did capture that issue. Susanna, you captured both of those problems we're talking about. Well, we actually haven't talked about this one yet.
And I was taking notes there, so I'll be able to put that into the pivotal tracker issue as well.
Yeah, so we'll need a story here as well about map is not correct. What does the user do? Right. Map location is not correct. We talked about this one, Bella. I think we have more information now about what that means. What it means when I apply. What do I do next? Not really apparent. We also have some more detail around if I fill out a membership application, but only part of it, not all of it. It seems like a disjoint process. It doesn't necessarily make sense to somebody coming in. That makes sense. We got that too. So that's a lot more helpful to add to this story.
At least how I understood that comment is, why do you first have to create a user and then apply for membership? Why can't you do it all at the same time?
Yeah, and it also wasn't clear when you put in the user account what the next steps are, I think, or what's going to happen now. Yeah. And I think that's true. Actually, when I put it, I always felt like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, because when we first log in, we were using a minimized window, and then you don't see apply for membership if you don't press the menu button. So we're sitting there reading the text and just going like, and what do we do now?
Should we wait for email?
Right.
Yeah. So if it's like this and you don't click on that, there's no
exactly.
There's no
and nothing told us to go and put in your application. Just wait till you hear from us.
And I was saying that it was in the plan that me and Ulrika was going to write a thorough thing, but it just didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah. It's definitely an issue. So that's good to know. And this other one, missing translation when editing an application.
It's just a word.
Oh, that's just that. Okay, that's no problem then. So we know what that is. Okay, thanks a lot, Bella. That was great. That's really useful feedback.
So if there's other feedback, not just how it's working now, but how it could work better, you know, you don't have to think, oh, well, but just those are ideas we want to have.
Yeah.
Maybe it's easy, or maybe that's something we can work in later. Don't hold back. Just give us your ideas.
So along those lines, the next thing, we just wanted to very quickly go through some of the things we've been thinking about to add to this system. We reviewed this with Susanna last week, or the week before, I forget, and we thought it would be useful also to review it with you, Bella. So these are some things that we're thinking about, and if you have any feedback on, gee, that's a really good thing to do fairly soon, or we really don't need that right now, you can put it way off, or anything like that would be useful. So one area is user account management. So the user has an account, which means, you know, they log in with that account. So right now, there's no way for a user to change their password themselves. There's no way for a user. An admin can
there is a way, but they can't access it because there's no link to it.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's a so-called hidden feature, which means it really isn't real, right? None of this. So we need the user to be able to access the ability to change the password themselves. So that sounds like a pretty critical thing. And also the email that's associated with their account, they can't do that right now either. Also, we need to have a forgot password feature. So
yes. That one is, yes.
Right now, the forgot password feature is you call the SHF admin and they change the password for you. And that's not really good. We need self-service on that. Mm-hmm. So member address, sounds like you're up to speed with Susanna, discussion with Susanna on adding a billing address for a company in addition to doing business at address. So we've been thinking a lot about how to do that. Also notification emails. So emails right now are not being sent at all from the system. So we thought one thing we could do is when an application status is changed, like it goes from new to under review, to waiting for applicant, et cetera, there's a bunch of states that it can assume, that we send email out to the applicant saying, hey, just wanted to let you know that your membership application has now gone to the ready for review stage or whatever. Just so they know, it's just so they know that they get feedback that there's somebody's paying attention to their application. We also thought that maybe the fact that you have this events page that you're using called Bingquars, I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly, we may want to link to that so we can pull in events that you'd like that SHF people are associated with and show it to those people on the SHF side as well to remind them of upcoming events, things like that. Feedback mechanism from members. One of the things we talked about is if I have a wrong location for my map, how do I let the SHF people know about this? That may be one use case for this, but also just site design. For instance, if we'd had a feedback mechanism, Bella, you might have been able to hit a button and just type in. I created a user application, and I'm not sure what I do now. How come I can't go immediately and create a membership application? It's not clear to me what I do. That kind of thing. So feedback mechanism. Review the user interface design. or ease of use, look and feel, also just process flow. Creating a user application and then having to stop. It looks like I have to stop before I can start creating a membership application. That's a process flow issue. And you thought you had to stop the process in the middle of it, and it wasn't clear how to continue the process to get to a membership application being created. That kind of thing. And then client feedback was what we've already asked you this meeting, which is anything else you want to tell us or that we should know about. So I think we covered that. So these are the things, areas that we're thinking about working on in the near future. And Bella, you're new to the system, so you may not have a lot of feedback to us right now, but any comments on any of this at this point?
To be honest, this link to events, that I was a little bit curious about, and we discussed it, and we see that there is some, not to say problems, but you need to consider if it's the right way to create it. But that's a little bit, it sounds good to have and interesting to have. So yeah, but I come back to it. I need to think about a little bit more before I say that's something to do.
But just to add to that, my thought with the events is that if you have the event at din kurs, all the information will be pre-filled. You just have to enter a serial code, and then you have everything you need. But even if you don't have din kurs, you can enter events, but then you have to enter all the information by hand.
Yes, because not all are using this din kurs.
No.
So
I just want to make it easier for those who are.
Yes, because I told Paulina, but can't you make that the program goes and find out on your website if you have a puppy course and it takes the information automatic? And she said no.
You could, but yeah.
Yeah, you could, but
It's
a little bit.
Bella, if there's a standard, just like an accountant in accounting or anything else, if there are standards for how the information is organized and written, then we can pull it in. And so obviously on din kurs, all their information is going to be one way. So we can say, this is how you have it organized and defined, we'll pull it in. But everybody's website, they will all do it differently. There's no standard. So it's pretty much how you would think, yeah. But
yeah.
Right, if we had 1 million developers and $1 million,
you can do anything, yeah.
You can do it.
Mostly $1 million, yeah. You don't have that hanging around, do you? Guess not.
Not me.
I don't. I just bought a house.
Yeah, I know. House 4. Okay, good. So din kurs is we're pulling in the events.
Well, so Bella and anybody else who uses the system and all that. So we'll sounds like these all kind of make sense. There's nothing here that. Okay, good. All right.
So can I just add a little bit to that? The technical part that for a lot of these is sending email out from the system. And so that's underneath the hood is our term.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, to getting that set up so that then the system can send emails out. And then we'll be able to do a lot of these things in the list. So then, when an application is being reviewed or accepted or rejected, sending email out to a person applying. Likewise, letting administrators know that, hey, something's happening you need to pay attention to.
A new application has come in.
New application. Or sending emails out to the membership then becomes easy. So that's the technical piece we're working on to have in place that then we can accomplish that.
Yep. So underneath the hood relates to when you're working on your car and you open the hood and the engine's there. That's something you actually mostly look at, right? Only when you have to. and hopefully it's not something you deal with. The mechanic deals with it. I just saw my wife and I just watched a man called Ove last night, and
Oh yeah, I have that in my queue.
it was funny about one man
Ove.
was a Saab guy and the other guy was a Volvo man, and how they had differences because of that. Anyway, sorry about that. Just free associating here. Okay, great. So I guess the last thing to do is just to confirm the next meeting time. So we thought 2 weeks from today is July 10th, and our standard time had been 1800 or 2000, excuse me, CEST, Stockholm time. Is that good? Is that a good time, or you want to change it?
That works for me.
That works for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
How about you, the other Susanna? You checking your calendar.
I guess it's a Monday.
Yeah, that's a Monday.
It is a Monday.